Six Nations round number three, folks. France get another win in their quest for a Six Nations title. 33 points to 8 is not embarrassing, but it's also not close. It's a comfortable enough win for the French. They get the bonus point. The Italians made them work for it for a while, but I don't know that the French defense was ever put under huge amounts of pressure. Even the Italian try kind of came from a bit of a French mistake, really. But yeah, the Italian scrum still looks good, and for all the sides going up against France, particularly away from home, Italy can still be pretty proud of their performance because a lot of teams would not get as close as 33 points to 8. We'll go through some of the key events and the stats, and you guys can let us know your thoughts. BLBRA, goodness me, he scores again. I was a little bit worried about how the Italians might kick towards the French defence, and the first try indeed comes from a kick from Italy. To be fair, they contested the kick, but it just kind of bobbled loose, and Dupont was the guy not in the contest who ended up with the ball. Immediately has the awareness to kick the ball long because he knows BLBRA will be chasing it. Sure enough, BLBRA is just too quick for everybody. 7 points to 0. That is a flying start for the French. We're only 3 minutes in Lille. The crowd is absolutely loving it, and it's basically all France for the first 20 minutes. Ramos kicks a 50-22. Remember, he was a late change from fullback to number 10 with the withdrawal of Jalibert, so a bit of a changed French back three with Atisogbe moving to fullback and Drouin coming in on the right wing. But 50-22 from Ramos in reply to an Italian kick as well. So you have to be so careful kicking the French side the ball. France go through the phases. Drouin out wide, the midfielders, Brody and Gaetan had touches in the build-up. Eventually, the big man, Emmanuel Miafu, is able to power over from close range. It's the only missed conversion from Ramos, but it's a 12 points to 0 lead, and it's not quite point a minute, but it's pretty close. The Italians, I mean, Zuliani had an intercept at one point. He'd won a turnover. They did have a couple of attacks which were held out, especially they counted when Ramos at one point missed touch with a penalty finder. BLBRA had to put a nice tackle on Liner, so I don't want to say the Italians had no attacks in the first half, but it was relatively comfortable going for the French, especially in the first kind of 20 or 30 minutes, and then they turned defense into attack. On 28 minutes, the French, it's loose Italian line-out ball. And if there's one area that I think will most frustrate Italian coach Gonzalo Quesada in this game, it's how bad their line-out was. Like, the Italian scrum was good. Made the French concede scrum penalties, but their line-out was just unacceptable. I mean, if you're going to go to France and play the French side in the form they're in, you need to get the vast majority of your line-out balls secured. They couldn't get that done. So it's poor from an Italian line-out. BLBRA tries to kick it through, but he kind of barely touches it, but Gaetan's able to get it. Runs a beautiful line, Gaetan. He's deceptively quick. Evades most of the Italian defenders. He is brought down by Liner, so it's a good tackle, but next phase, Ramos is able to go over. So 19 points to 0. France are looking very, very comfortable. Bonus point is not far away, but it kind of is far away because it takes them until Drouin's try on 71 minutes to get it, and we're only at, 29 minutes at this moment. So the Italians, to their credit, they did have their 8 points towards the end of the first half. They got them kind of back to back. As I said, the one try they get kind of comes out of a French error, but it is an error under some Italian pressure. So the Italians do need some credit for it as well, because they were able to punish a French kick pass, which was a bit loose. They hacked it long. Ramos, when tracking back, tried to keep the ball from going into touch by slapping it back in field. Atisogbe was left with a lot to do in his own goal line. He manages to get back in field, but then the ball bobbles out the back of a ruck. and Capozzo's only just come back into the Italian side. He's the first man to react, so he pounces on it for the first try, and first and only try for the Italians. So 19 points to 5. It's not traditional build-up phases, break down the opposition defence kind of try, but it is still a try which capitalises on a couple of errors from France, which are, put under pressure by the Italians. So they still need some credit for it. And then the Italian scrum wins a penalty before half-time. There's a bit of a discussion between Lamoureux and Garbisi, and eventually they decide to opt for the 3 points. I think it's a good decision. Get them back within touching distance. There's not long to go before half-time. Take the kick, which they do. So it's 19 points to 8. That is the score at half-time. So France is still comfortably out in front, but Italy are only one score away from making it a really interesting game. To be fair, Drion had gone close before half-time as well, but Italy were able to hold them out. So half-time, line breaks is 5-4 to the Italians. Turnovers won is 4-3 to the Italians, but the scoreboard is still looking with the French, and the line out 100% for France, 71 for the Italians. It's just not going to get it done. Second half starts. The Italian scrum is still looking solid, but the French attack is still looking dangerous. And because the possession stats were pretty even at halftime, you could feel those numbers kind of just shifting towards France as they starved the Italians of possession, put them under continuing amounts of pressure. They were going really close. Like we see kind of 20 minutes of that second half fly by with no real genuine try-scoring chances. It does feel like an arm wrestle, but as I said, you can feel the pressure is shifting and they're squeezing the Italians. The midfielder, Bro Boiri, he knocks on really close to the line after the French had a kind of 5-meter tap. So it's good Italian defence, as they had made a couple of errors themselves. Like Fusco had kicked it out on the full, and that had a line out not straight from Dimichev. So they're putting themselves under a bit of pressure, but the defence was able to hold the French out up until 71 minutes. I mean, to be fair, the Italians had one decent chance with their scrum. Again, wins a penalty. They kick deep into French territory. Chance to attack, get that score, put France under some pressure, scoreboard pressure, but nope, they missed the line out again. That's really the killer for them. 71 minutes though. France look to turn turnover play into attack, and Liner gets himself yellow carded. I think it's Nushi with the hitting the ruck. They pop the ball out left towards BLBRA, and Liner sticks a hand out, gets himself yellow carded for a deliberate knock on. They did TMO it to check if it could have been a penalty try, and BLBRA probably scores in that position, but it's so far out. There are Italian defenders. I think it's a prop coming across, so they decide it's not guaranteed he would have scored, but geez, he would have gone close to scoring. Either way, they don't give a penalty try, but it's certainly a yellow card to Liner. France do not take long to punish with the man advantage. Line out maul, wide play, Ramos cross kick to Drion on debut, and it is try time. It is bonus point time. I think Capozzo was off injured, so it might have been 15 against 13. Commentary team highlighted that point as well. So tough for the Italians, but it had been coming. It had been coming for a long, long time. Nothing's really going right for the Italians for the end of the game. I mean, they almost had a great 50-22. Garbisi put in a really nice kick that was surely going to roll out, but it just stayed in field and just went towards the dead ball line. It did go dead, so unfortunate for them. Italy's defence held out by another 8 phases. After some big carries from France, BLBRA, Guiar's come off the bench, and then eventually Gaiton was able to go past Odogwu for another try. Awkward ball for Gaiton. It was around his shoulder, but he manages to not only keep the ball, but also ride the tackle of Odogwu. Goes over for another try. So 33 points to 8. It's comfortable enough, like I said, for the Italians. The Italians did go, sorry, for the French. The Italians did go 15 phases at the death, chasing a consolation, but France was not letting them score any points in that second half. Stats, possession finishes 52-48. Second half possession was 59-41, so I think it highlights all the ball that France had. Defenders beaten 32-10. few too many missed tackles from the Italians. Offload is 12-7. It's a little bit lower from France than usual, even if that's higher than everybody else. Tackle percentage is also key. Sean Edwards will be happy with 94% for France. They made 147 tackles. Like Italy made 142, but at 82%, so they would have missed more overall. Individuals, Gaitan beats 7 defenders. Dude's a good player. Ramos beats 4, sets up 2 tries. Dupont beats 5, sets up 2 tries. Meafu, 10 tackles and a try. Bray, 14 tackles from him before he goes off. Lorenzo Canone made 15. But, yeah. Tough day at the office for the Italians, but they gave it a good go. Scoreline, I think, is about to be expected. Italy will host England after the week off, which will be a tasty one. And France, chasing the championship, head to Scotland, which will likewise be fascinating. You guys let us know your thoughts on the game. If you enjoyed the vid and the stats and everything else, give us a subscription. I'd appreciate it. Take care. And yeah, talk to you guys again soon. See you later.